Welcome back to another slow English story. Take a deep breath. Relax your mind. And let the story unfold slowly. There was once a stonecutter who lived in a quiet village at the foot of a mountain. Every morning before the sun rose, he would wake up, wash his face with cold water, and walk to the mountain with his simple tools on his back. His job was hard. He spent long hours under the burning sun, cutting heavy pieces of stone day after day. His hands were rough. His arms were tired. His clothes were always covered in dust. Sometimes he wondered if his life had any meaning beyond work and exhaustion. One afternoon, after many hours of cutting and lifting, the stonecutter sat down on a large rock to rest. He looked at his hands, covered with cuts, covered with dirt, covered with years of effort. He sighed and whispered, "I feel weak. I feel tired. Maybe I'm not strong enough for this." The wind blew softly, and the mountain stood tall and silent behind him. The stonecutter felt small next to it, as if his life was tiny and unimportant. But the next morning he went back to work, as he always did. He picked up his hammer and struck a massive stone. The first strike barely made a sound. The second strike made a small crack. The third strike echoed softly. He continued. 10 strikes. 20 strikes. 30 strikes. Nothing seemed to change. But he kept going. Then, on the final strike, the stone suddenly split cleanly in half. The stonecutter stepped back in surprise. It felt like magic. He touched the broken stone and realized something important. It wasn't the last strike that broke it. It was all the strikes before it. Every effort he made, every swing of his hammer, every day of work had built strength inside him, even when he didn't notice it. The stonecutter smiled for the first time in days. He picked up another rock, and this time it felt slightly lighter. Not because the stone changed, but because he had changed. Day after day, he continued his work with a new understanding. He saw each swing of the hammer not as a burden but as progress. He saw each drop of sweat not as suffering but as a sign of growth. Months passed. The stonecutter's body became stronger. His back no longer hurt the way it used to. His arms grew powerful. His hands became steady and confident. But more importantly, his mind grew stronger too. He learned that real strength does not appear suddenly. It does not fall from the sky. And it is not something other people can give you. Real strength is built quietly, slowly, patiently, one day at a time. One evening, the stonecutter finished his work and looked at the mountain again. But this time he didn't feel small. He didn't feel weak. He didn't feel tired. He felt proud. He realized that he had been climbing his own invisible mountain. A mountain made of fear, doubt, and discouragement. And every day, with every strike of his hammer, he had climbed a little higher. The stonecutter walked home with steady steps. Children ran past him and asked, "Why do you work so hard every day?" He smiled and replied gently, "Because every day I work, I become someone stronger." His words were simple, but they carried the truth of many years. As the sun set behind the mountain, the stonecutter looked at his hands again. They were still rough. They were still scarred. But now he saw beauty in them. He saw proof of his journey. He saw evidence of his strength. He whispered softly, "Strength is not something you find. It is something you build." And with peace in his heart, he walked home, ready to continue his journey tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Remember, every effort you make, no matter how small, is building your strength. And just like the stonecutter, you are becoming stronger every single day. And don't forget, keep practicing your English a little bit every day. Small steps make big progress.